Alright guys, today we're doing fuel lines in a ryobi expanded weed eater. I'll put the model number in the description. It's on the bottom here. All the parts will be in the description below. Filters, fuel lines. I'll do a whole kit that's got carburetor and everything, super cheap on Amazon. It'll be in the link below. First thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this air filter cover off like that, and then these two bolts in here, right? Let me turn this flashlight on this thing. These two bolts right here we're going to remove. Those are T25s, torque 25s. You don't have to take the air filter assembly and carburetor off. It just makes it easier to get to the fuel lines. You see how loose this is. What happens is the ethanol shrinks them. So if you use a non-ethanol fuel, it's much better, than the ethanol one. It just shrunk. They get brittle and hard, and then they start cracking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and cut this line. We're gonna pull it out of the tank. Get the lines disconnected off the carburetor. We're doing the carburetor too. You would just take the throttle cable out. Be the next step. It's a little S turn. Just comes right out. And then you make sure that you have the gasket back in between the new carburetor and the engine. But we're not going to. This actually ran. It was just leaking gas out of the tank because the lines were all loose. So we're going to put that back on later. First thing though, we're going to cut this to a point, and then we're going to stick it in the right hand hole. We only have to get it in about an inch, just get it in. This is going to be the return line. I'm going to set the carburetor back on here for reference purposes. The top line is the return, so you're going to make sure that you cut this where you got plenty of room to stab it into the return. Now we're going to do the fuel line that takes the filter, cut it to a point, put it in the left hand hole. And this one, here, we'll get this carb out of the way. This one we're going to put in far enough to where we can get it, grab it and pull it out of the tank, about that far. That's about that much. Then you're going to go ahead and cut the tip right off of it. And then we're going to go ahead and grab this new fuel filter and we're going to stab it on that line. Alright, so then we're going to go ahead and shove this back in to the tank and make sure it sits right on the bottom of the tank like that. Make sure it sits right on the bottom of the tank. Alright, so that's our longer line. The longer line is the line with the fuel filter. This is the return line. We're going to go ahead, if you're putting a new carb, hook your throttle cable up onto it now. Remember, the top is where the short line goes. That's your return, so stab that on. The bottom one is your line that has the filter on it. Measure the right length, cut it off and stab it on like that. And now we're going to go ahead and put this back through the carburetor. This is going to go towards the top, just like this. Make sure the gasket's on, and put it into the intake manifold and tighten it down. We're going to go ahead and dump some gas into our gas tank. I mix it in a gallon can and I dump it into an old Gatorade bottle. That way we can make sure there's no dirt or water in it. It gives you a chance, as a homeowner or somebody like that, make sure your gas is still good. So this is actually mixed really rich. So your gas is much darker than this. That means most of your gas is evaporated out of your mix and your oil is still in there, and it's just going to ruin your equipment. It should be lighter than this. I mix mine rich, just, I do it because some people run their stuff too lean. It gives it a little oil and give it a little chance to live. Alright, so now we're going to put our gas cap on here. We got gas in it. And then we're going to prime it to make sure we hook the lines up right. If it primes, it means it's right. If it doesn't prime, it means you've got them backwards. But Mine's right. It's doing it right. All right. So a way also to tell it if it's wrong is if you look in the gas cap and you're priming it and you see foam coming out of the fuel filter, it means you got them backwards. You gotta swap them back. All right. So now we're gonna go ahead, make sure the air filter is clean, put it back in the cap. We're gonna put these two hooks in here and click it down into place. This choke arm is going to break. There we go. Now it's in place. And that's it. Alright guys, if this helped out in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. All the parts will be in the description that you might need for this job. Today's t-shirt will be in the description below as well. If you want me to wear some of your business attire, I'd be more than happy to do some advertising for you. Mail it to me. Peace.